Hello. Is it me you're looking for?
No.
Hello and welcome once again to Crazy Comics and Stories.
Again? You mean we're doing this more than once?
Why, yes, we've done it 203 times.
You think we'd be used to it by now?
Well, I'm used to it. You, on the other hand.
That's true. To me, it's a shock every time I'm doing another one.
It's me, you're charming and delightful, old Uncle Rat Bastard.
And you do sound charming. I'll give you that.
And at the other end of the series of tubes and wires we call the internets is Joe, Crazy Writer. How you doing today, Joe?
If Rush Limbaugh can beat paper to emphasize a point, maybe I should do that. I mean, does that work or does it sound crappy?
It sounds crappy.
Okay, well, then I'll definitely do it. I am here deep in the basement. The Cyclotron 3000 is busy whirling away because we're having another weekend of hot temperatures with incredibly hot and high dew points.
Although, here's the thing, Joe.
There's rain nearby, so hopefully it'll go away.
You don't have to tell people that the cyclotron is blasting away.
Oh, but it's fun.
I'm able to get rid of that sound.
What? You are?
If you listen to the last 4 podcasts.
Oh, well. Hang on a second here. I'll just go turn this something off. There we go. Why waste electricity if it's not going to ruin the effect of the podcast? You know what I'm always saying. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm back. How are we doing?
We're still recording.
Oh, I'm sorry about that.
As so are we.
What I'm trying to figure out is, did I order a copy of Keiju Max number 5? Because it just came out this week. And that's one of my up-and-coming favorite books here.
But you don't know if you ordered it or not.
I don't, because when it first came out, I never caught it. I was able to pick up the Keiju Max 4. That's when I started ordering it. So I am up to date. Because it always, you go into a store and you see comics and you're thinking, did I order that or not? And sometimes when I'm ordering through the previews, you're kind of hardcore and you're thinking, nope, not going to order it, cut it off. And then you figure out later, or I'll hear from you like how good it is, and I think, okay, I'll go pick it up.
See, I'm a little different about my comics. When I keep my order, on my tablet and my phone, I have DCB service bookmarked so that when I go into a shop, I can look at my account and say, oh, okay, what have I ordered? And then I also use an app called Remember the Milk, where you could put, okay, here's the stuff I need at the grocery store, here's the stuff I need to pick up at Costco, here's the stuff here. And I have my want list in that, so that if I find something, it's on the want list, all I have to do is found it, swipe it away, and it's gone.
That sounds way too much. I'd rather just gripe about ordering duplicates.
Or, buy 15 copies of Ms. Marvel number 7.
That one might be good, because isn't that the one where she teams up with Captain Marvel?
Oh, I don't know.
I just saw that on the cover. And then, I think the other one, what's it called? Star-Lord and Kitty Pryde? Secret Wars?
Yes.
Yeah, that number 1 came out, and I looked at it like, I think I ordered this, but I actually didn't, so I'll have to go back and pick it up.
So, where are you picking stuff up? Because we're recording on a different day.
Yeah, we are recording, believe it or not, 38 years from the date that Elvis Presley passed away on the crapper.
Really?
Yep. This is the August 16th.
And you know what yesterday was, right? Don't you, Joe?
I was at work, so I didn't really know what it was.
Yesterday was the 50th anniversary of the Rutles performing the concert at Shea Stadium, named after the famous guerrilla leader Shea Stadium. They played for 20 whole minutes.
Woohoo!
Oh, and I guess the Beatles performed somewhere else too. But the Rutles are the ones that I think were the more important one. They were a legend to last a lunchtime.
Beatles are a hack. I saw the Monkees throw darts at them.
Yeah, when I listen to Beatles songs, they pretty much sound an awful lot like Rutles songs.
You know what's interesting about that Beatle phenomena, the whole, 20 seconds of it, they were one of the hardest things you could ever do is try to get the rights to use Beatle music on your TV shows. And apparently the Monkees were able to do that because the Beatles actually liked what the Monkees were doing. They got the joke.
The show Mad Men.
Mm-hmm.
They told a story about how they got the rights to a Beatles song because they would play songs from the era over their closing credits. And they paid through the nose to get the rights to a Beatles song.
Assuming they'll even give you the rights, because that's
right.
It was for a while tough to do. I think it's kind of loosened up a little, but still, they stay on top of it. Just like Johnny Cash's estate, they don't want to have Ring of Fire out there for a Preparation H commercial.
But they paid through the nose to get the rights to one of the Beatles songs, and then when it showed on AMC, you know what cable networks do once the credits start, right?
Mm-hmm.
They shrank it down. They took the sound of the show down, and then coming up next on AMC. And the creator of the show went to the network and said, you realize you spent this large amount of money for this song and then didn't play it so that people could hear it. And after that, they quit doing that on Mad Men. Because it was, oh crap, that's right, we're paying good money for this music.
Brilliant.
We probably should. That's one of the problems I have when I tune into a show, because especially on a lot of cable channels, the new show starts and the old movie or whatever it was, they shrink down the credits really small and run them real fast.
Mm-hmm.
But they run them so fast that I almost get vertigo.
Oh yeah.
So like when Mark Maron's show starts, I can't see the first 30 seconds of it because I have to close my eyes or I'm going to go, here comes lunch.
That's one of the reasons why I'm dumping, we dump the dish and cable. I mean, I sit there and I hear all the different things that are coming up that actually sounds cool. And, I'm not going to watch Doctor Who or Walking Dead or any of the other shows like that as they come out. But it's like, I've got so much crap to watch now. It's not even, I'm going to need another lifetime to do it all.
Well, and then there's all the comics that stack up.
Oh, well, those I can just put on eBay, so that's no worries with that.
Yeah, but come on, Joe, you're still waiting to read Secret Wars 2 tie-ins.
That's true. And I already reserved Secret Wars 3.
Oh, that was just a story in the Fantastic Four.
It's good enough for me.
That's where we found out that the Beyonder was actually a baby cosmic cube.
Yeah, and then they tricked him and Molecule Man to merging to make another cube.
Yes.
Curse you, shaper of worlds.
And then we found out, no, that wasn't true either. And then we found out all of Secret Wars 2 was just an elaborate prank, and the Beyonder was actually, an Inhuman. And now in the new Secret Wars, no, the Beyonders are a race of beings more powerful than any of the Marvel cosmic beings. And my head hurts, Joe.
And of course, the Beyonder we saw was just a baby Beyonder.
Yes.
Did you? My assumption is you have not read Secret Wars number 5 yet.
I have not.
All right.
The last one I read was where Doctor Strange is killed.
All right.
I'm sorry, Sheriff Strange.
I do want to bring up something, and I'm going to do this in a way that it's not really a spoiler, because in Secret...
So I don't have to play the spoiler music?
Not necessarily, although if you want to, you can.
All right, let's go.
All right. We basically, in Secret Wars 5, I ran out to the source over on Wednesday because I've been really digging these action figure cover variants, like I blabbed
okay.
about. So, and they usually have them on the shelf, so I pick one up, and then I can read it. I don't have to wait for my shipment. They revisit what we already know, that when however they destroyed the Beyonders, Doom got the power because Doctor Strange didn't want it. And so there's a thing in there, and if I had a chance to talk to Hickman, I'd say, you could have added one line that would have made this so much better. So they get to the point where they're like, Doctor Strange it's too much to fathom, Victor. It's too much. I can't. You have to do it. And, it's just a single panel out of something they've already talked about. To improve that, and I'm not one to normally improve on someone as awesome as Hickman. It's too much, Victor. I can't do it again. You have to do it. And you know what the again refers to?
No.
Remember Doctor Strange way back when he recreated the universe?
Oh, yeah, they're finally touching on that.
No, they don't touch on it in this.
Oh.
If they had put again, I kept thinking, you should have mentioned that, because to me, that would have given Doctor Strange a better reason why he didn't want to do it. This would be the second time he's doing it. I don't want to do it again. You have to do it. But they don't. They kind of let it go. It kind of like Strange kind of pussies out a little bit. It's too much. I can't do it. You do it, Doom. Which again is something I've always thought, really Doom and Doctor Strange, they don't really have a reason to be adversaries, because Doom, they operate on different realms. They don't look at Doom as a superhero, being that Doom's a fairly decent sorcerer to begin with. But anyways, that's just my little addition. Maybe I'll just scribble it in, and there you go. But I mean, we talked
just
about
write it in a magic marker.
Write it in again. Please, people, read your old comics. We talked about that.
And if you don't want to read them, give them to me.
Yeah, Cory will review them.
I read them.
He reads everything.
Not everything, but boy, there are times when it feels close. I read a lot this week, but we'll get to that.
Oh, yeah.
But it's just us again, by the way.
I know. And I don't even have a song in my heart today. I got nothing to sing about.
Well, here's something you can sing about. You ready?
Let's hear it.
It's these guys, our sponsors. You may not be able to join the mighty Marvel Marching Society anymore, or even the Friends of Old Marvel, but you can visit our sponsors. Our oldest sponsor is DreamHost.com. DreamHost.com is the best, bar none, web host in the whole known universe. If you need a website, go to DreamHost.com. They will take care of you, as they've been taking care of me for over 15 years. If you use the code CRAYZ, that's K-R-A-Y-Z, you get $20 off your first year of hosting. If you are listening to this podcast, you are very good looking. That's right. As a good-looking person, you can't trust your skin to any old razor. That's why you need to shave with the amazing razors you could get delivered from the Dollar Shave Club. Every month they send a box with your shaving supplies. At the beginning of the week, or whenever you want, you pop in a fresh blade and get that fresh blade shave. It feels fantastic, and it's just one of the many, many ways that you can maintain the good looks that everyone has come to expect from you. And if you join us at the Dollar Shave Club, their plans start at just $3 a month. They have a money-back guarantee, and there is no excuse for you to ever use any other razor. So just go to dollarshaveclub.com/crazy, K-R-A-Y-Z, to get started. One of the things you need to do this year, you need to get healthy. We all need to be healthy so we can all hang out a lot longer. And one of the ways to get healthy is not to go down to the vending machine and buy those chips or those candy bars or any of the other vending machine snacks. You want healthy snacks picked out by actual chefs who know what they're doing, and you can do that at graze.com. And if you use the code Cory S3R5P, your first and fifth box are free, so you can try it out. See if that's the kind of stuff you like. That's Cory S3R5P. Our final sponsor is Worldwide News. Worldwide News is the story of the lowest rated cable news network and the people who work there. It is updated twice a week by writer Cory Strode, hey, that's me, and artist Dangerous Dan Moore. Worldwide News at worldwidenews.solitairerose.com, part of the Solitaire Rose family of websites. If you would like to contact us, there are a whole bunch of ways. You can email us at cory.strode@gmail.com. You can give us a call. We have a voice line that is open at all times at 952-856-0519, or you could go to Facebook and join the Crazy Comics and Stuff fan page. If you would like to advertise on Crazy Comics and Stories or on Solitaire Rose Radio, you can. Just send me an email at cory.strode@gmail.com, subject advertising. Thanks. Thought I'd mix it up a little bit.
Yeah, get them in the beginning. You know what I'm saying?
Mostly I put them toward the end because more people pay attention during Freaking and Geeking, but mix it up a little.
Kind of like, putting the good stuff in the back of the store, making them go.
That's right.
Now, I have a question for you, Cory.
Uh-oh.
And this deals with...
Is this another Ask the Strode episode? Because if so,
not
you know...
as intense. Because, usually about this time I go on and on about what a great thing I'm doing on eBay. I'm selling books, different things. I got a deal going for our long-term listeners. If they actually win something, I'll toss in a little extra, or give them free shipping, or just something fun as a thank you for putting up with us for 203 plus episodes. But no, it's not all peaches and cream. It's not all cream. It's not all peaches. Sometimes even I fail to sell something. Now the question, Cory, what is a Wizard Ace edition?
That was Wizard would put out a special version of a comic that you had to mail away for at one point. And I think later you could actually buy them from Wizard.
Yeah, they were usually
distributors, right?
Yep, they were, and I think you got one free for like every 25 issues of Wizard you ordered as a retailer. They're a very nice edition. They're printed on good paper. They often include a little bonus feature. They have acetate covers, which are just gorgeous. They're usually key issues like the first Green Goblin appearance, the first Silver Surfer, First Dawn, things like that. As far as I can tell, there's only about 14 of them. And with the exception of very few of them, they actually sell for a pretty good penny on eBay. Cory, what are Wizard 1/2s?
Those were kind of promo comics, and didn't they come bagged with Wizard from time to time?
They did that. There was also a coupon you could mail away to get. Some had glow-in-the-dark covers, some didn't. They were also offered as premiums as well for the, order 25 copies, we'll sell you one. I must have been 20 copies of Wizard 1/2s. Did not sell a single one. A lot of them are not worth much. Matter of fact, if you indulge me here a second as I call up my eBay list, the only
Excuse me while I whip this out.
Let me take a peek here.
That joke never gets old.
No, it doesn't. That movie never gets old either. This is in my freaking. Everything's electronic in my home seems to be acting up today. Even now as we speak, I cannot get eBay to cooperate. Toaster oven. I'll turn you. Okay, there it goes. Gotta threaten these things. I'm just looking at all the 1/2s they have, like a Ripclaw 1/2. There were Silver Surfer 1/2 contained in the original story. Heroes Reborn 1/2. Well, I understand that. But some of them, like Sin City 1/2, these are books that they range anywhere from $2 to almost no value at all. There are a few that actually have a bit of a value, like Wolverine 1/2, probably because it's Wolverine. The highest priced one was a very odd one. It was Witchblade versus Darkness 1/2. The only way to get this originally was to apply for the Wizard credit card. And if you got it, you were able to get the 1/2. Wizard had a deal with their credit card, and I don't know of anybody who's done it. For the amount of money you spent, you got Wizard points, and the Wizard points would be used to get different shops or different items or things like that. I don't even know if the Wizard cards are working. I should probably give Gruber a call because I know he got one. Originally, these Witchblade versus Darkness 1/2 Wizards were going for like $40, $50. Now, $5, $10. They've mellowed out. And even then, I've had one up on eBay for a while. Nobody seems to care. So not everything is worth money. Not everything, even I, can convert into gold. So if you're looking for a Wizard 1/2, go ahead, jump on eBay, check them out. The Ace editions, like I said, they're beautiful books. I've sold pretty much every one I've got. And that's all that's going on in the eBay world.
Oh, that's good. I haven't had time for eBay.
And I'm really surprised this year. I didn't go crazy getting the San Diego Comic-Con exclusives. Usually I go bug nuts trying to get the comics. And there was one I looked at, and I might have mentioned it was a Lego recreation of Action Comics #1. And, in fact, I'll type that in here. Lego San Diego Comic-Con 2015. It was going like for about $200. And the weird thing was, in order to qualify to get one of these, you had to go wait in Wizards or Lego's line and get a ticket to see if later on you got a chance to put your name in the bucket to see about winning one. Let's see. Here's somebody's got it for $280, $240. It seems to mellowed out about $225. It's kind of a cute little Lego set, but it's like I didn't go for it. I bid on a lot of them. I mean, there were people putting them up for like $100, so I bid them up to like $170, and I didn't win one of them. So I was playing the spoiler.
No, when I went through and kind of went nuts on buying the Criterion DVDs, I just haven't had time to monitor it like I used to.
Mm-hmm.
But I have a nice little, and I have a bunch that I haven't watched yet, but I've got a nice little setup for, some Kurosawa, some classics, some of the weird stuff that I like. I was able to get Eraserhead.
Oh,
I'm a huge David Lynch fan.
That would be fun.
Actually, when you said you could record, I was going through, because some more news has come out about the relaunch of Twin Peaks next year, and I was going through the deleted scenes that are up on YouTube. And I'll tell you how big a fan I am, Joe.
How big a fan are you, Cory?
The show went off the air 25 years ago. I'm watching deleted scenes from the Twin Peaks Fire Walk with Me movie and fitting it into the puzzle of the story and not doing I know people who watched the show a month ago and come up to me and go, I don't understand this is weird. I don't get it. And I don't know. There must just be something wrong with my brain because I was watching it and going, oh, cool. Especially when the man from another world says that we are in two universes right now. And they are moving up and down and through each other. It's like, oh, I hope they have that in the show. But most of the furniture running is done. Although, Jen is moving here, in 2 weeks. So now I'm having to ask people if they can help. And, does Butch have a truck? We don't know, dude.
I will swear I heard the crickets.
Nope, they're dead.
No, I'm pretty sure I heard the crickets. Every time you ask for help moving furniture, there is a cricket somewhere.
But I had to go pick up a couple of lamps, and they were in Anoka. I'd never been to Anoka before, Joe.
There's a reason for that, but I can't.
I had no idea how far away it was, because, I looked on the Google.
It's only an inch. I can't be that far.
Well, the Google said it was 35 minutes away. It's like, that's no big deal.
Yeah, no big deal.
I could drive 35 minutes.
I'll do that just to pick up a pair of choppers.
And no, it was an hour and 20 minutes. With me getting off work at 3:10, it was an hour and 20 minutes. But I got the lamps, and there was this little teeny shop that said, at a strip mall, that said baseball cards and comics. And I figured, well, I've driven an hour and 20 minutes to get up here and buy 2 lamps for $20. I could stop and see this comic shop. This comic shop I've never heard of. Maybe it'll be fun. I go in. Joe, I stepped into 1993.
Hmm.
Not only was it, the kind of dark, kind of cramped, really dusty, you didn't have any comics from after 1993. It was very clear that this shop was some guy's like hobby shop, and he'd gotten into comics during the boom, and then when the boom faded, he got out of comics, but he still got them. Still at 93 prices.
Oh.
So if you're looking for yourself a Turok #1 for $20, he's got it. If you're looking for Archer and Armstrong early issues at $30 and $40, he's got them. Spawn #1 at $25, he's got it. They had Bloodstrike. I'm going to tell you something about Bloodstrike, Joe. That was the one where you rub the blood.
Yeah, I remember.
You rub that blood for 30 days and it's still not going to fade away. Cause that was the bit, there was blood spatter on the cover. And if you rubbed it as your hand heated it up, the blood color would fade. Not anymore. It doesn't work.
So, Atomic Avenue's got Turok #1, 429 copies starting at 50 cents.
Oh!
Guide price $1.
200, 400, it's like, whoa, wait, I'm gonna drive back up there.
Yeah, even the gold one, which we talked about, that they gave out when all the retailers were, except me, that were complaining. Hey, this chromium cover was supposed to be totally chrome, not just a little paste on chromey. So Valiant sent out the gold edition. And of course, for shops like me that sold all my stuff and didn't bitch, I got nothing. Bastards. No wonder you went out of business. Take that, shooter.
Really looks like shit now, by the way.
Yeah.
It does look like someone just took a sticker and shoved it in the middle of the comic.
It's funny you mentioned shops like that, because when you emailed me, my lovely daughter Dana and I had just finished a daddy-daughter day. And we decided there were a couple comic stores in the Twin Cities that we never hit before.
Oh, really?
And we thought maybe we'd go check them out.
Yeah, because you can't go to Chick-fil-A.
Well, actually, this was the one who's non-vegan. The one who was, the Holly didn't go because her boyfriend came over. So.
Yeah, but Chick-fil-A's closed on Sunday.
Oh, you bastard. Damn, I really want me some Chick-fil-A.
See, me, I won't go because they're scumbags, but,
Tasty scumbags, but scumbags. And of course, if Chick-fil-A happens to be listening, I know Cory doesn't care, but I would be perfectly willing to accept any and all offerings you want to give in exchange for an apology and maybe a plug here on this here show.
I prefer Sonic.
Yeah, Sonic's good. So, hey, before I get into the trips we took, anything else about our odd shop in Anoka you want to mention?
Just that I didn't see anybody else come in the damn store. I was in there for probably 20 minutes looking to see if there were any back issues that were, worth anything that he didn't know about. Mm-hmm. Like the Marvel Superheroes issue that has the first appearance of Squirrel Girl. No. It was basically like someone had taken a comic shop in 93 and put it in a deep freeze. It was really weird. And he only had like 3 long boxes toward the back.
What was the rest of the store?
Baseball cards.
That's it.
Signed baseballs. It was kind of like all the crap that Shinders used to have that I didn't know anything about and didn't care about. But, signed baseball cards, pennants, baseball, packs of baseball cards going all the way back. I don't know. I'm actually kind of surprised that a little bitty store like that can last that long. And the only thing I think is the strip mall was kind of run down and shabby. So maybe the guy is selling stuff on eBay or doing whatever, and the rent's not that high. But I was really surprised that it was still open, because I haven't seen a baseball card shop in forever.
We'll come back to that in a second here, because when Dana and I took off for the day, the first place we went to was a shop she had run across called Mead Hall Games. It's at 1425 LaSalle Avenue in Minneapolis, kind of in the Loring Park area. really cool place. I mean, not big on comics, but wonderful gaming area. It was down in a building, big oak barrels, huge oak tables in back to play on. We first walked in, or I should say walked down, because you walk down the little steps. They had a small, almost like cubby hole filled with graphic novels. Nothing I saw that I wanted to buy. Matter of fact, just to assure our listeners, because I know you're always curious as to what type of treasures I find as I go on these various outings, Dana and I did not buy a single comic book.
Really?
And it's not for lack of trying. In the back of Mead Hall Games, they have probably, I think I went through about a fourth of their short boxes that they had full of comics. And most of them were just newer comics. They did have a small shelf area with some new comics, and that's where I saw the aforementioned Star-Lord Kitty Pryde book, which, again, I thought I ordered, but I didn't, so I may have to go back to get it. They had some guys playing games. Place was fairly well lit, very nice ambiance. Not really interested in the games. Dana did mention, she thought, well, geez, the owner could have at least said hi. And I said, well, yeah, but he was helping a customer, and he was like looking behind the counter every time we walked past. So not a bad little place, but just like a few other shops that we've talked about in the past, it's more geared towards games than comics. That's in a nice location, and I think it should last for a while. The second place we went to was a new place I mentioned. I had met these guys first when the Comics, Card, and Collectibles show was run back in June. These are the guys, www.comiccard.net. They got another show coming up Saturday, November 7th, and they're going to have a couple special guests there. Sammy White, who's the 2 times Pro Bowler Rookie of the Year for the Vikings out of 76. Ted Brown, who's 3 times leading rusher. Not that I care about them necessarily, but you know who we're going to see here, Maggot? That's right. The Sergeant Slaughter, WWE Hall of Fame 04, former WWE champion, and I was on G.I. Joe, so eyes front, Maggot. $20 per autograph. Eric Larson of Savage Dragon fame is going to be there. I'm actually excited to see him. I've seen him a few times at the Chicago Con when we went there way back in the day, but it'll be fun to see him and maybe get a few autographs from him. And Tom, how do you spell his name? Guyan? He's been at some of the MCBA shows in the past, and they'll be there. Again, this show is Saturday, November 7th. At the Bloomington VFW. Go to www.comiccard.net. Of course, before you do that, you'll want to go to the Midwest Comic Book Association Fall Comic Con, the comic book party, the one-day wonder. That'll be October 10th, 2015 at the Minnesota State Fairgrounds Education Building. And for more information, go to www.mcbacomiccons.com. And you can send them questions, mcbaquestions@gmail.com. And if anybody from the MCBA or the Comics, Cards, and Collectibles want to send Cory and I a little something for these free promos, we're open to bribery. Shout out here and there. So anyways, I found out about High Class Comics at the previously mentioned Comic Card, Comic-Con. This guy's shop, it's a small, it almost feels like a nostalgia store. And it's the same type of feel I got what you were talking about. It sounds like he almost just decided, you know what? I got a lot of stuff. I'm just going to open up a comics/toy store. Very, very small, almost smaller than Crazy Comics. Every nook and cranny crammed with stuff. Marvel magazines, video games, comic books. He's got comics from all ages, mostly, the golden age, not really golden age, but silver age, bronze age are kind of beat up. A lot of modern comics, things that have gone up in price. It was fun to look through the Bjorn, the guy who was there. I don't know if he's the owner, but He said hi when we came in, very fun to talk to. And, it's a place I'll definitely be stopping back to check out. And, we hung there for a little bit. We browsed through some things and again, didn't buy anything. After that, we took a tour up to Dreamhaven. Unfortunately, there was a sign on the door that said, come back later. So we're going to have to come back later. After that, we decided to move on and visit Mr. Zero's, a place we've talked about before. Mr. Zero's is more like a vintage store, almost like a larger version of High Class Comics. And of course, they carry video games, CDs, action figures, LPs, non-sports cards, autographs, books, memorabilia store. It almost sounds like it's my High Class Comics and Mr. Zero's aren't so much comic shops as they are nostalgia shops, because they're not carrying new stuff, they're just carrying the old stuff. In the case of Mr. Zero's, it was kind of fun because as I went through, I was looking for things that I'd seen there before and they were gone. And then you're seeing stacks of new stuff. But the only real negative is the guy behind the counter was just kind of there. And both at Mr. Zero's and High Class Comics, I did not sense any air conditioning, which is almost a mandatory. That was something I remember at Hot Comics was always a big deal because we had that huge store and we had to keep it air conditioned. And it just, during the summer months, that air conditioning bill was just high.
Well, and you had the window that faced the sun.
Yeah, when the western side hit. With the smaller shop, it had that weird display area thing. So that got hot as heck, but the rest of the shop stayed cool. But when we went to the large store, it was tough. I don't know if it was XL, it must have been XL Energy at the time. They came and they installed something on the air conditioner, some kind of an timeout thing, and what they did is they gave me like a 20% break on my energy. So what would happen is during days like today where it was super hot and demand was high, they would flip a switch and it would turn off my AC for like a half hour and then turn it back on and turn it off, and they would do that. So in case of having a little bit more sweat in the shop, I got a little break on the bill. Not that it was really noticeable. So I know you're all depressed because, neither Dana nor I actually bought anything visiting the three places we went to and the one place we tried. Alas, we did actually buy something. We stopped at Glam Doll Donuts, 2605 Nicollet Avenue in Minneapolis. In case those of you who like to hang out on the Food Network, this place was featured there. On Thrillist.com, they were listed as one of the top 21 donut shops in the United States. So we went by, actually we were just driving by, and Dana's like, hey, there's Glam Doll, and we were both hungry, so we thought we'd stop. And we ordered half a dozen donuts to bring home, and then we ate a couple donuts there. Dana got one that had bacon on it, because she loved her
I have
bacon.
actually, one of the people I work with went there and brought donuts over one morning. I don't know why, because, it was the group home and it was out in Victoria, and all the donuts had bacon on them, and it's like, oh, good. I don't get donuts.
Don't eat bacon. I had one that had...
By the way, people, if you do help with the move-in, I'm going to be making praline bacon for those who help.
I swear I hear the crickets. Anyways, my donut had some soft caramel, with sea salt on it. So it was pretty good.
I'm also making caramels, Joe, but you're not getting any.
I enjoyed it thoroughly. No, because you're moving on the day that I work, too.
I don't care. I'm not moving at all.
It was there, too, that
I'm never moving.
I ran across a bottle of Simpson & Sons Revitalizing Tonic, and I drank the whole thing.
Are you revitalized?
Well, let's just say Chris left the store. So, anyways, so that was our day. We visited two new places, Mead Hall and High Class Comics. Tried to visit one, and Dana, having never been to Mr. Zero, stopped in, and she enjoyed it. I know I'm going to have to bring Holly there, because Holly, I don't know if it's just a phase she's going through, but she's really into vinyl. She's been digging through my vinyl collection. She absconded with not only my turntable, but my computerized turntable, the one we subjected you guys to in Miami Vice song. Or Mice, sorry. So she'd probably enjoy it.
Joe, that wasn't us. That was a morning show.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
don't break kayfabe.
Yeah, okay. Well, we subjected to the nobody loves the Hulk song. The record album you could have bought for a quarter out of the comic, but no, you didn't. You waited to listen to us for free. Good for you.
And it was worth less than a quarter.
Actually, the albums run about $15 on eBay. They used to be really high buck, but then as want happened in stuff of that era, somebody found a warehouse of them and the price kind of tumbled.
I'm surprised that one didn't get reissued, because I know Marvel reissued the Rock Reflections of a Superhero, that terrible Spider-Man album.
I thought it got released on a Rhino release, just a bunch of songs like that. I think they were just novelty songs, not necessarily tied into Marvel Comics per se.
And then they put out the one of all the Mad songs that Mad had released on the flexi discs in the magazine. And some of them were fairly good.
Oh, by the way, I did enjoy my Glendale donut. Delicious.
So one of the things that I wanted to ask is, we've got new comic shops showing up. Have any comic shops gone away?
The only ones I'm aware of, I think Beyond Shinders is no more. Matter of fact, I'm pretty sure they're not, because there's a Hobby Lobby, ironically also not open on Sunday, that was in their place. So,
I wonder if all the Beyond Shinders are dead.
Well, there were only two that I'm aware of.
Yeah, there was that one and one in next to Ridgedale.
Yeah, I don't know about that. Let me.
Yeah, let's go to the Strodetron 2000.
Yeah.
Beyond Shinders.
Beyond Shinders. There is.
Beyond Shinders closed in Hopkins.
Ah. Yeah, and we already know the one in Maplewood's gone, so.
Yeah, they're both, they're dead, Jim. Oh, well. Oh, I like this. Here's an article about it from 2010. Beyond Shinders, going boldly where it has been before.
Yep. But they had the porn there and back, so.
And that's why I think they wouldn't have made it. See, I'm reading about it here. Because I've talked in the past about how I know a lot of what happened financially with Shinders. Once the internet hit, they were basically a corpse walking. Because without the porn, their profit margins were not good enough to make it. Baseball cards, nobody gave a shit anymore. Magazines, they only got 20% profit on. And I know they got into poker during the poker boom.
Oh, yeah.
But, boy, that poker boom was fun, because when it died, I was able to pick up a lot of really good chip sets. To the point, there was one, I think Southdale actually had 3 stores that sold like poker tables and poker chips and stuff. And I think they're all gone now. But the thing I find interesting, you've got these new shops opening up and no shops really closing. And we're also looking at there's more and more dollars in comics. Maybe, just maybe, we're seeing a mini boom going on right now.
Or not.
Well, I know the Source has stacks and stacks and stacks of books. And, even though they're one of the biggest stores in the U.S., there have got to be other stores, stores in bigger cities that are stacking more comics. And I know that one of the big ones in New York actually just took out an ad that I've seen like 6 or 7 times on Facebook, where they're hiring marketing people. So, one thing that would be nice if we are in a little mini boom, if the shops were actually putting the money back into the shops. Because the companies don't need to put money back into anything anymore. They're part of huge conglomerates. But one of the big problems during the 90s boom was that this money would come in and they wouldn't put it back into advertising and research and development and marketing. It was, hey, Rob Liefeld bought a house for his mom and dad with one check from one comic. And horrible, horrible, horrible Hollywood deals, like Dooms 4. Remember the Dooms 4 movie with Tom Cruise attached to it that was going to be coming out in 1994? Do you remember that movie, Joe? Oh, that was such a great movie.
It doesn't matter. Rob got the money for it. Got to hang out with
No.
Rob.
No, Rob spent the money for that.
Yeah, but he got it. What he did with it, I don't care. But the point is he got paid for it.
He got paid for the comics, and then he took the money and basically pissed it away in Hollywood.
But he appeared on
which
the
just recently
Late
started
Show.
to come out from a couple people. He was on Dennis Miller's show.
Ah, that's what it was, yeah. And everybody in the audience got one.
Yep. I was actually reading up on movie making in the 70s and how, like, low-budget filmmakers would meet with these different people. And, Joe, do you remember the movie Kentucky Fried Movie?
I've never seen it, but I do know of it.
It's the first movie by the guys who did Airplane and Top Secret and stuff like that. And they were with John Landis, and they went to all the studios to try and sell the movie, and nobody bought it. So then they started going to the second tier, and nobody wanted it. Then they started to go to, like, real estate people and oil people and stuff like that. And they were telling the story about how they're in a meeting with John Landis, with one of the real estate guys. And the real estate guy's going on and on and on about what a genius movie maker he is. And John Landis had a pen and actually wrote on the bottom of his shoe, "This guy is a schmuck," to show the other guys.
Mm-hmm.
Problem is the real estate guy saw it.
Uh-huh.
So I'm a schmuck, huh?
Yeah,
what?
Pretty much.
On the bottom of your shoe says I'm a schmuck. Why do you say I'm a schmuck? Well, 'cause you don't know anything about how movies are made, and you've been spending an hour telling us about how, this meeting's over. That's one thing that I think about when these new shops open up. I worry because I keep thinking back to Christie's shop. She got the shop, but she had no money behind her.
Mm-hmm.
And with the new shop, you kind of keep your eye on it for the first year or so, because most businesses fail within the first year. But now the shops you went to, do they have other stuff other than just comics?
Well, Mead Hall was games, which
okay.
Pretty good. Again, high class comics, Mr. Zero's. I saw records, magazines, action figures, new figures,
okay.
old figures, video games. You know, for high class comics, they really packed a lot into a small space. You know, I'm sure I left missing something I would have bought. Mr. Zero, same way. Just things are just packed, almost overpacked. I mean, it's to the point where, you know, you're scared to move anything else, something else fall on top of you.
It's a giant Jenga. Well, you didn't buy anything. Did you read anything over the last week or two?
Yeah, we'll get to that. I think we're going to do Freaking and Geeking.
Yep, we've been talking for about an hour. Let's get into Freaking and Geeking. Joe, what are you freaking about?
I swear, every damn electronic item I own is out to get me this week. My phone kept freezing up on me. It suddenly locked. I couldn't get any of my pictures off it that I'd taken with the phone. I took the SIM card out, and fortunately, they're there, even though the phone doesn't recognize they're there, so I just cut and paste them into my computer so I still have them. I love me the Simpsons game. There's a glitch on it now that is infuriating, because every time you try to, you know, tap on something to get whatever the prize is, the game freezes. It locks up the phone. I have to reboot the phone to get it to free up. And, you know, it's one of those glitches that other people report and EA knows about, but they're not going to do anything about because A, it's the weekend, and B, they don't know what the hell's wrong with it. So it's taking...
Yeah, but when they fix it, we get free donuts.
Well, maybe. I'm just wondering what I'm missing out on now. Oh, bastards. So hating that. That's pretty much it for freaking on me. Just a couple things kind of annoying me. Cory, what's got you freaking?
The way they're shipping comics lately, I've been checking my DCB service every couple of weeks to see what's coming. it's pointless for me to check it until the last week of the month because I order from DCBS mostly trades and the Tomorrow magazines and the bigger Archie digests. So like the first 3 weeks of the month, it's nothing. Then the last week, oh, there's everything. DC trades are all late. They're all late by at least 2 months. Any hardcovers late. I don't even bother.
Yep.
Yeah. I don't even bother looking at hardcovers. It's like, oh yeah, I ordered that. It was supposed to be out in March. Oh good, it's coming in August. That's great. Thank you.
It's late.
Now, part of the problem is a lot of the DC and Marvel hardcovers are being printed in China. But then when they're shipped to the U.S., they're not shipped normal. They're shipped as ballast. Basically, they're in these big boxes that are really heavy to keep the ships from overturning. So while they'll say, hey, this will be out in May, it might not be out for a few months because it's not in a box that weighs enough. We need to add more weight to it.
Yep, shipping our jobs overseas again. Damn.
It's just craziness. It's been hot, damn hot, Africa hot, and I don't. You people down south who bellyache about it when we say it. I'm sorry. When it gets over 90 in Minnesota, we're not used to that. It's not good for us. We move here for a reason. We're wimpy, pale-skinned wimps during the summer. Now winter, it's like, man. Finally, 10 below zero. Guess I gotta zip up my coat. But during the summer, it's like, oh God, it's 90. I'm dying.
Well, yeah, and just look, we get great laughs out of it. Hey, look, they got an 1/8 inch of snow. The whole South shut down. Jeez.
I think Minneapolis is shut down once, and that was the Halloween blizzard when we got 3 feet of snow in 6 hours. Every other time it's like, yeah, they say you can't get through the roads, but we get through the roads.
Piece of cake.
Really, that's all I have for freaking. I'm doing okay. Well, okay. I do have one freak.
Okay, one freak.
And it's, hanging at the home.
Oh, hanging at the home.
Yep, hanging at the home. They call me Friday while I'm on the way home with these lamps to see if I will do a sleeping overnight. It's like, well, you work tomorrow 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. Just come in at 10 p.m. tonight. You could sleep, wake up around 6:30, start getting everybody up. Great. I get home, power's out again. And it's like, okay, well, I never get good sleep at the group home anyway. It's Africa hot in the house. It's so hot the cat is laying on the floor completely stretched out as if she's doing yoga. And it's okay. I'll lay down. I'll set my phone so it'll go off. I have a battery pack now for my phone and other USB items. So it's like, okay, the phone won't go out of power. Lay down. I wake up around 8:30. Everything's back on and flashing. Not going to deal with
oh,
this.
My son, would you get over here and reprogram this stuff?
So I just gather my stuff up, throw it in the car, grab something to eat on the way over, go to work. I get there. No one is ready for bed because we had new staff who didn't get anybody. Now, they're supposed to be in bed at 10 p.m. That's why it's a sleep shift. I could come in at 10 and sleep. Nope, everybody was up. And because they've been allowed to stay up, normally it takes them around a half hour to shuffle into their rooms and go to bed. No, they were still having snack at 10 o'clock. And I said, did something happen tonight? Was there some weird? No, we just thought they might like staying up. Oh my God. So myself and the overnight staff are the only two having to get all 12 people into bed, 3 of which are in wheelchairs and have to be, lifted and placed in bed, which is why they do it when we have 4 staff and we get that done. And of course, they're in their room, but they're not tired at all. So the TVs are all on and blasting. And they keep coming out wanting, I gotta go to the bathroom. Oh, there's this tomorrow. Oh, did you see my calendar from work? Oh, what's for breakfast? So really, they're not in their rooms with the lights out in the house till around 11:15, 11:30. Phone rings at 11:30. Just want to let you guys know that at 3:30 this morning we're going to have a fire drill. Oh, and this cottage is short one person. So after you do your fire drill, one of you is going to have to go to the other cottage to do the fire drill there. Now, Joe, you know how I talked about how it was hard for two people to get everybody into bed?
Mm-hmm.
You remember that part?
Yep.
So at 3:30, we have to wake them up, get them all out of bed, into their wheelchairs and with their walkers and all that, and then get them outside as we're being timed to see how fast we do this. Then we have to get them all back into bed. Then someone has to go to one of the other cottages and help out, and I looked like, I'm sorry, I looked like an extra from Dawn of the Dead. They did not. I said, do you want to help over there? No, let the other person do that. I'm just going to kind of sit here and maybe stare at the wall. So that takes, I didn't get back to bed till about 4:45. And then my alarm goes off at 5:30 because I have to get up. And, we have to start getting people up 6:30, 7 o'clock. Oh, they'd been up all late and then woke up in the middle of the night. So get people out of bed so they could get their pills and everything on time. Yeah, that didn't happen. I actually had one person throw their shoes at me. Get out of my room! I'm tired! So I was kind of freaking about that.
Yeah.
There's another story about today's shift, but I've made a promise, Joe. I've made a promise to the listeners of this show. I do not tell stories about vomit or poop. I cannot tell today's story because it involves both. Geeking, Joe, what are you geeking on?
I finally had a brief moment. I sat down, I pulled one of them there DVDs I haven't watched forever. This week I chose The Spectacular Legacy of the American Wrestling Association.
Oh, I like that.
I believe I've had this since 2006 when it came out. Because the one thing is Vern Gagne's in it, as you all know. I believe he's passed away. And
Yes.
He wasn't very cognizant towards the end of his life. But this was back when he was, and they were able to include him in the Hall of Fame, which was nice. But I grew up on AWA wrestling. It was just a blast to go through this, not only when they caught up to when Hulk Hogan was in the AWA, but also to cover some of the early parts of the AWA, such as when the High Flyers debuted. They debuted against Nick Bockwinkel and Ray Stevens, I believe it was. And it was the match where they brought in Bobby Heenan, who had been wrestling, brought him in as a manager. And of course, everything broke down, and the High Flyers got tossed out, and I think Larry the Axe Hennig came in and cleared the place because he was kind of the bad boy of the scene then. It covers a lot of things that I lived through, which was fun, a lot of things that I was ignoring because towards the end of the 80s was kind of a dry spell for wrestling for me because I wasn't really into the cartoonish WWF, and AWA was virtually unwatchable. I think I discovered WCCW at that time, so it was still pretty cool. But this was a fun one. If you have any recollection of AWA, what you got to realize is a lot of WWF/WWE's later superstars came from the AWA. Hulk Hogan was going to quit wrestling, and to hear it was either Greg Gagne or somebody told him to give Vern a call and come on in. They brought him in, tried to make him a bad guy, but they found out we were cheering for him. Became a good guy. Same thing happened with the Road Warriors. They came in as bad guys, but we were cheering for them. So they became kind of, that was beginning of kind of the, what would you call it? The heel phase or something? They were trying to be bad guys, but boy, we loved them anyways.
It was more the smart fan. Because Dave Shearer on PWInsiderElite.com talks about how he would cheer the bad guys because he liked the bad guys better. The bad guys were more interesting. The bad guys were more fun to listen to. They were usually better in the ring. They were better workers because they were the ones who had to carry the match. So back in the 80s, 90s, if you were a smart fan, you usually were a fan of the bad guys. And that really took hold with Flair. Because if I've watched the Four Horsemen DVD, and it talks about how fans, no matter how horrible and terrible and heinous the Four Horsemen were, fans were cheering them. And on TV, they would actually turn down the cheers because they didn't want people on TV going, oh, they're cheering for Flair, and he's taking a spike to Dusty Rhodes' eye. But I think it was the fans who knew that it was a show that really would do that. And the AWA fans were smart fans.
Let's see what else we got here. I mentioned the earlier Secret Wars number 4, which I enjoyed. I also picked up Deadpool Secret Wars number 3, which is just hilarious. And picked up number 3 of Old Man Logan, which is, I'm enjoying a lot because he kind of reminds me of like what Clint Eastwood's character would be if he was wandering through Battleworld. I know Battleworld / Secret Wars eventually is coming to an end. Well, boy, I would be happy if Marvel Comics would have just left this for an entire friggin' year. Because it is just, I am finding it just fascinating. Just, it's like everybody is either knows or is kind of aware, yeah, we're in a certain area. We have to stay in this area, at least the higher ups that we're dealing with. I mean, it's just amazing, the stories that could be told, plus the fact that Battleworld existed for 3 years before Secret Wars started. So you could come back and have Battleworld stories, unless everybody's going to forget about it, although I have no idea how this is going to end, which is even more thrilling, because usually you know how something's going to end because Previous has given it away. No, this time I have no idea how it's going to end, and I'm loving it. So those are actually a lot of fun. We are getting into the time of the season where we're expecting some slow periods at the airport. So we're told, we can't leave because we have to maintain in case something's late or whatever. I mean, really, if they gave me the choice, I would just say, don't pay me, I'm going home. But they said, bring some books just in case things slow down. And so I got me a pile of books ready to go. I picked Neil Gaiman's book, The Ocean at the End of the Lane, novel. One of the ones I talked about earlier, how chance and stupidity have changed history, The Hinge Factor by Eric Derschmeid. Picked up a couple graphic novels out. One I've had for a while. I think this is Astonishing X-Men Volume 3, Ghost Box, where Warren Ellis and I can't read the artist's name on there. But it was Astonishing X-Men 25 through 30 after the acclaimed one by Josh Wheaton. I've got Saga Volume 1, Axis and Alda Volume 1. I've got a hardcover, Family Business, Amazing Spider-Man, where Mark Waid, James Robinson, and a bunch of other people. Plus a couple of those magazines, Alter Ego number 133, the one about Jim Mooney. And I brought back issue 100 to finish Spectacular. It's all about the giant size, 100-page Spectacular stuff. So I figure I'm ready to do some reading. Sure enough, the slow time came. I spent all night playing the Simpsons game, which is really depressing because the following day is when it started crashing. So on eBay, I got nothing. I haven't really bid on much. I haven't been going after anything. I did pick up a couple things off Toy Peddler that were kind of fun. 3 Hot Wheels, continuing on with their, I'm not sure what they call it, if it's the movie series or nostalgia series. I got a deluxe version of the Squad 51 from Emergency. They call it the Rapid Responder. And it's got the cool little logo on the side. These are usually a little bit more detailed instead of just having, the normal plastic on it. They They put a little extra chrome on them. They normally run about $4 or $5. I got a really cool Christine, the Stephen King book. If you remember the movie, it was okay, I guess. The book was even better. And then one that really cracked me up, From Close Encounters of the Third Kind, the Department of Water and Power truck. If you remember, who was it, got stuck at the train crossing when the aliens went over him, and he leaned out the one side, got the half burned off. Anyways, it's his truck there. I want to say Roy Schneider. That's not who it was.
No, it was, oh gosh.
I know, brain lock.
Give me a minute.
Give him a minute.
Richard Dreyfuss.
Ah, there we go. Sorry, Richard. If you want to come on the show any time and, chew us out, Richard, feel free to just contact us here. We'll take care of it.
Well, then again, he's not doing a lot of movies anymore.
He's probably retired. Let him be. You got time to do a podcast or two. Come on, talk to us.
Yeah, it's not like you're being chased by sharks all the time.
No, not all the time. And, we'll set up some mashed potatoes for you. You seem to like those. Other than finding out Eric Larson's coming to town on November 7th, I'm just gearing up for con season. Or we should call them mini con season because a bunch of one days coming up. So, a little chaos is good for the soul. I'm ready for it. Cory, what are you geeking on? What's got you pleased?
I had time to read comics.
Woohoo!
And one of the comics I've been meaning to talk about a couple of times, but I keep forgetting, is Strange Fruit by Mark Waid and J.G. Jones. J.G. Jones is one of my favorite artists. I wish he would do more stuff. But I don't want to spoil anything about this book because just like every few pages, there's a huge surprise that I went, whoa, cool. Oh, cool. It doesn't seem like a superhero book when you first start reading it. It doesn't seem like a history-based book when you start reading it. It reminded me a lot of Milestone's Icon, except in a less superhero and more realistic fiction way, if that doesn't spoil too much for people.
I don't think so.
But go to the shop and buy this book. Buy it sight unseen because you don't want anyone ruining any of the cool moments in it. It's Mark Waid, so you know it's going to be good, and it's J.G. Jones, so you know it's going to look beautiful. Speaking of Mark Waid, he is wrapping up his run on Daredevil.
Aww.
And just read the latest issue of Daredevil, number 18. And it's an issue-long fight scene with some flashbacks in it. And you know how over the years Kingpin has kind of become a villain that just kind of sits around and doesn't do anything? Yeah, that's over. Mark Waid has made Kingpin into the mastermind bastard he was back under Frank Miller. And it's very good, and I like the fact that the hero has been outsmarted at every turn. Waid is also pulling together all the different threads he's been weaving through since issue 1, with it being in San Francisco, with Daredevil, with Matt Murdock being out as Daredevil, with the Shroud, with Julia Carpenter, the former Spider-Woman. All of it is coming together, and it's really good. Chris Samney's art is... I like his art because it's not that scratchy art. It's more nuanced. It tells the story beautifully. It feels a lot like Hawkeye. And Daredevil by Mark Waid's another one of those books. It's if you're not buying it, go get those trades because you're going to enjoy it. I was moving stuff around to make room for Jen's furniture, and I ran across one of the Marvel Masterworks that I had not read yet. And it's a bunch of stories that I haven't read. I read them back when they were reprinted in Marvel Tales, and I probably read them when they were reprinted in an Essential. But it's, Marvel Masterwork Spider-Man number 12. which starts with issue 110, which is The Birth of the Gibbon. You know, the Gibbon, Joe. That well-known famous Spider-Man villain.
I have some relatives named Gibbon. World famous.
But this is at the very end of the Stan Lee run, where you could tell that Stan was half-assing it, but
kind of like a Gibbon's ass.
But it's Johnny Romita inking himself on some of these. It's Stan doing his stuff. It's them kind of getting ready to pass the torch. You can tell that
Gibbons are part of the Harley Betiti family. It's historically contained one genus, but now split into four general.
Glad I'm not going to that family reunion. Thank you. Good afternoon.
Part of the lesser apes.
Crowd. But these are stories, it's kind of like a time capsule.
Chimpanzees, gorillas, orangutans, and humans.
Are you done?
Gibbons like to pair bond. They usually mate for life, unlike the great apes who just mate wherever they get redheads and pies.
I prefer the grape apes.
Grape ape.
God, I wish Jen was here to yell at you to shut up.
Yeah. That would just get me going more. Hey, by the way, their diets are about 60% fruit-based. They also consume figs, twigs, leaves, insects, flowers, occasionally a bird eggs.
I'm also reading Godzilla Goes to Hell.
Oh, what do you think of that one?
That's really interesting. I like the fact that it's silent. There's a lot of really horrific imagery of hell. I'm glad they're doing it. I don't know where they're going to go with it. And this is one where I think how they end it is really going to determine how much I like it. But it's interesting and it's cool. And there's some really strange ideas in it. I got caught up on Ultimate End, which is Brian Michael Bendis and Mark Bagley, hot artist Mark Bagley, wrapping up the Ultimate Universe. And like a lot of the Bendis miniseries, it feels like there's a lot more story going on than you're seeing. I'm looking at it going, how is he going to wrap all this up in the number of issues he's got? But the character interplay is so great. The stuff he does with the two Hulks, the stuff he does with the two Iron Man, the sequence where our Peter Parker is sitting down with Aunt May and Gwen Stacy, talking about the death of the Ultimate Universe's Peter Parker. Joe, I could read a 128-page graphic novel of them just sitting around talking if it were done by Bendis.
Oh, yeah.
It's such a fascinating dynamic. It's so good. I think pretty soon you and I are going to have to do a special episode on the Ultimate Universe, because I could actually point to the moment where the Ultimate Universe lost me. But the fact that it lasted as long as it has, it's lasted 15 years. No other, this is set in another universe, not Marvel, has lasted close to that long. 2099 was done in 3 years, 4 years. New Universe was done in 3 years. This one actually was really successful and really worked out well. And while I think it's good that they're closing it off, it reminds me of just how cool the Ultimate Universe was back when it first started. You and I have also talked about Secret Wars. One of the books that I talk about from time to time, new issue of the new version of Creepy is out. It used to be a 48-page comic. Now it's a 32-page comic, and that kind of makes me a little sad. But the horror stories, these horror anthology books, seem to be popping up a lot. Creepy and Eerie are still the best ones. And Dark Horse is doing a fantastic job. If you're just looking for some fun comics to read with a lot of different art styles and maybe some artists and writers you have dropped off the radar, pick up Creepy and Eerie. They're well worth your money. They're written kind of in that 70s style. So it's not like a modern comic where it's a 32-page comic that you read in 5 minutes. These comics, they take your time because they're a little wordy. They're old school and they're well worth the money. And then I picked up, in one of my last bins from DCB Service, another of the Judge Dredd complete case files where they're reprinting every Judge Dredd story ever. If you don't read Judge Dredd for a while, you forget how much fun they are. They're just fun, funny stories. The problem with them is you shouldn't read a whole bunch of them in a row because they're pretty much the same story over and over and over. But they're fun to read. I haven't read Judge Dredd in a while. And I'm thinking, maybe I'll go back and pick up some 2000 ADs cheap if I could get them. But I remember when I would pick up 2000 AD, the problem was all the serials would start at different times. So it's like, okay, well, I can't pick up this issue because this is part 9 of 12 and this is part 7 of, I'll wait till they start them all. So if they ever do every serial starts in this issue, maybe I'll pick it up. And that's what I've been up to.
And now you know.
Believe it or not, kids, you've listened to us blather on about funny books and funny book shops for a little over an hour and a half.
Well, good for you.
And as we say every week, the comic we like the least, we still like better than the comic that you like the most. Joe?
Life is a disease, sexually transmitted and invariably fatal. Neil Gaiman. Cory, hit my music.